I play Father Kent, who is a man of the cloth there in New Orleans, and he's a little bit of a salesman where you're not quite sure if everything he's saying is accurate and what exactly his background is. But he kind of helps put together the team that, does battle with these ghosts. My experience with the theme park attraction was zero. I've never been on the ride, but it sounds like I'm making up, but I'm going tonight. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it matches up to, my memory of making the movie. I think it was talking with Justin, the director, and just really kind of enjoying our conversations and, his kind of how open he seemed to kind of coming up with stuff. Well, it was great. I think that's going to be one of the pleasures, hopefully, for people seeing the movie is kind of all the, it's a great cast that Justin put together. And then, for me personally working, getting the chance to kind of work and become friends with Danny DeVito, I really liked. I think it was, what Justin, and this is kind of, something that you kind of hope for with a director, is that they kind of give you sort of a sense that, that obviously they're steering the ship, but that they're sort of supportive of, ideas and open to things that you think might be able to make the scene better or have ideas themselves. And so that's how Justin was.
Please give a brief summary of the plot of the film.
Okay, so the film, as I see it, is about this kind of like shady, misanthropic guy that kind of hates people and for some reason is like leading tours in New Orleans. He gets stuck in this haunted mansion with a bunch of people that he would never have hung out with under any other circumstances, and only by becoming friends with these people and working with these people is he able to unlock the secrets of the mansion and make his way out. And I think that that is so powerful because, very few of us get to choose the people and the circumstances that we are surrounded by. And very few of us can get through life without experiencing some kind of loss, some kind of grief, something that makes us a little shady, a little more sarcastic than maybe we normally are. And this movie says, yeah, all of that's true, and you can laugh through it and you can get through it.
Talk about your experiences with the theme park attraction prior to doing the film.
So I had a lot of encounters with the theme park attraction, weirdly enough. When I was 9, my mom saved up, took us to Disney World. It was one of the first rides we rode. She was absolutely terrified and put the fear of God in me the entire time we were at Disney World. And I'll never forget, coming out of the ride and really, really wondering, is that hitchhiking ghost still hanging out with me as I make my way through this theme park. And as I got older, I slowly started to realize maybe it's all just a trick, but I never forgot the magic of that question of real, that's the thing about Disneyland and Disney World that's so powerful is it really makes you question reality. It really believably takes you to a fantasy place, and that was a touchstone for this movie for me. And as I got older, I ended up working at Disneyland. I went to film school at a school called Chapman University in Orange County, and Anaheim is where Disneyland is. And I was so struck by the similarities. Even though I'm not a theme park designer, these are stories. This is storytelling, and it's actually very cinematic. And I used to ride Pirates, and I used to ride Haunted Mansion, and I used to ride these dark rides and go, how do I do this in a movie? And so it is wild to literally have the assignment be, do that in a movie.
Why did you want to direct this film?
I wanted to direct this film for a lot of reasons. First of all, when I first read it, I'm looking at the cover page, Haunted Mansion. I'm like, we did that, right? Why are we doing that again? Open the page. Laugh on page 1. Then I laugh again. Then I start to get sad. And all of a sudden, it's 3 a.m. and I've completed the script. And I have laughed and I have cried. And I've woken my husband up. And it's a problem. But I was like, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. Is an ensemble comedy, but it's about something. My first movie is an ensemble comedy, but it's about something. But then it has all of these like campy horror genre flourishes. That's me too. That's my second movie, Bad Hair. I grew up watching these kinds of movies, and I love these kinds of movies. I love a good family movie to this day that is really, truly made for every member of the family, the kids and the adults and the teenagers, everybody in between. I love those movies. And so for me, it was just like, I can see myself doing this. I don't know if anybody else can. That plus the fact that my family is from Louisiana. So I have a familiarity with the culture of New Orleans, which is where the mansion is set. And I felt like that's something I can bring to the table, because if you really tell the truth about this place and this wonderful setting and all of the cultures that mix and combine here, I just really felt like you would tell an even more authentic story about the mansion. And that's what I pitched, and they said yes. I just kept going.
Briefly describe the characters you portrayed in the film and effect you have on each other.
So I play Madame Leota, who is if you've been on the attraction, she's the woman trapped in the crystal ball at the beginning who says, "Welcome, foolish mortals, into this ghost realm." And she's been trapped in there for a very long time, and she is released from it by this young medium who is what I would refer to as a Star Wars, since Disney owns Star Wars, a Star Wars connect the dot Padawan learner, young Harriet, who is a medium.
Yes, and my character is learning how to tap into her powers. She's been playing a role of, yes, I can do this, and she does have some powers, and she's very boisterous about it, but she's not confident in it until she is guided by the great Madame Leota, who's someone she's looked up to for her whole life. And when she loves couture kind of fashiony stuff.
And I just love that they bond together in this beautiful way of sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your experiences with the theme park attraction prior to doing the film.
Well, I'm the old person. I'm older than everybody. And I've clearly been to that park 40 times. I've been on this attraction at least 40 times over many, many, many decades. And there's something magical about Disney. There's magic in the attractions, there's magic in the cast members. The world outside of Disneyland is hard. Everybody works hard. It's a tough life for most people. And what Walt Disney created, this magical place for people to forget their woes and walk into this magic kingdom, really still holds as it did back then. It holds today.
Yeah, and for me, I just remember always wanting to get on the Haunted Mansion attraction because it was where there was the most air conditioning, also where you get to see the most magic. I always wondered, how did they get that lady's head in there? Is that a TV in there? Are they really using holograms? How do they get these things to float around like this? What are they doing? It must be magic. Oh, I wonder, does Disney know God and they just do this stuff together? I don't know. My imagination is off the chain, especially when I was a kid, because I didn't understand how they was able to do this. And at first I thought maybe it was real ghosts in there. Now I'm a little older. I don't necessarily believe in ghosts and all of that. I do believe in demons though. And they make me eat candy, and I don't want to. But they make me. I don't want to. Anyways, I love that ride.
What attracted each of you to want to be in this film?
I simply was just thrilled to be able to play this iconic part that's been part of this ride since 1969. I remember being a little kid seeing her inside that crystal ball. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I was just thrilled, and I got to work with people like Tiffany and Rosario and Lakeith and Danny and Owen. Justin made this incredible, beautiful sets and costumes. So for me, it was just very easy.
And for me, it was, I always, always, always wanted to be in something Disney, but to be in Haunted Mansion is even better because that's the ride I always go to. I remember one time I went to Disneyland and the ride was broke down. The attraction wasn't working that day. I was furious. And me and my friends was trying to figure out how to break in. We tried, we got in trouble. Lesson learned. Never try to break in to a Disney attraction. If they say it's shut down, it's shut down. You don't want to sit in that office. You do not want to sit in that office 15, done. Past that though. And I wasn't banned from the place, so I'm glad. Lesson learned.
Thank you both. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Briefly describe the characters you portray in the film.
I love that, briefly. To briefly describe Gabby, I play a single mother from New York who's a doctor and has moved down to Louisiana, where her mom was from, to fulfill her life dream of having a bed and breakfast and being able to use that as a means of surrounding her son with different people to help her raise him. And it's haunted. She bought the mansion sight unseen on Zillow, and there's a warning for that. And she ends up getting quite a crew of people to kind of help her with it and kind of actually actualize that dream.
I play Ben. If I were to briefly describe Ben Mathias, I would say he is an astrophysicist who's been out of work for some time because he's been mourning the loss of his late wife and attempting to put together the pieces of his life to find his footing again. And he finds himself introduced to this family, Gabby, who are on their own journey, and ends up joining up with them to go on a larger journey to try to escape from what ends up being a haunted mansion. And so him and all of the different characters gather together to find a way out, but also find deeper chambers and layers to themselves.
What attracted each of you to want to be in this film?
So I kind of feel like I manifested this film. I was coming off of some very heavy subjects in storytelling on the last two previous projects, and I was like literally calling out, going, I'd love to do a comedy of some kind, something just lighter. And then suddenly I get the call for this, and I had to say yes, because it's Justin Simien and Lakeith Stanfield and it's Tiffany Haddish and Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito and Chase W. Dillon and all of the wonderful people who get to be a part of it. And then I suddenly was like, be careful what you ask for, because these are all comedy greats, and now it's gonna take some effort. So it was really fun to be challenged, but it was just really fun to just be on this ride with all these incredible people who I've been so inspired by for so long, and to do it in this dynamic with this young man, Chase, who plays my son, who is absolutely just fearless in his approach to this character and this story and all of the people that we were with, because I can get intimidated, but he's intimidated by zero. And so that just made it really, really fun to play off of someone and it not necessarily be like a romantic interest or any of these other things. It was like probably one of the greater relationships I've ever had on camera, and I got to do it with Chase.
What attracted me to the role was the opportunity to work with Disney, the opportunity to work with Justin, who I was a fan of his work, and the opportunity to work with this brilliant, amazing cast of all these people, some of which I grew up watching, like Danny DeVito and Owen and Rosario, and new talent like Chase, who was this revelation for me to come to meet and understand. And the material itself really made me feel like it was going to be something that was large and big and special, but also something that was rooted in a heartfelt story that felt intimate and close to things that I had known and that I know other people know. So yeah, all of those things made a perfect cocktail for me to want to join on.